Hey guys, my name is Jason and welcome back to another video. It's been like 7 years since I posted, but anyways, today we are going to do something very different. As you can see from the picture, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to learn. So I just recently got the science assessment, and basically in the science assessment, we have to make an educational video. And I thought I might as well post it. You know, it's like killing two birds with one stone, but weirder. And a couple of things I need to warn you before we start the video is that this is an educational video. Therefore, it will be boring. Another thing I also have to tell you is that if you came here to learn new things, well, you came to the wrong video. So without further ado, let us make this educational video. Matter. If there's one thing that everyone knows about matter, is that matter cannot be destroyed no matter what you do to it. Matter will always be there for thousands and thousands of years. Even if they change form, they will always be there. Therefore, they go through a cycle. And there are three types of cycles of matter: the nitrogen cycle, the phosphorus cycle, and the carbon cycle. Now, today we'll be discussing the carbon cycle. Now, what is the carbon cycle? The carbon cycle is the circulation and transformation of carbon back and forth between living things and the environment. Carbon is
6.5 hours later.
Carbon dioxide. Carbon is often referred to as the building block of life because living things are based on carbon and carbon compounds. Now, did you get any of that? Good, neither did I. Before I go into the steps of the carbon cycle, I'm going to talk a little bit about carbon. The first thing you need to know is that carbon is everywhere. Carbon can be part of the ocean, the air, even rocks. In fact, all living things contain carbon, and since the Earth is a dynamic, in other words, constantly changing place, carbon never stays in one spot. So this is an accurate diagram of what the carbon cycle looks like. Since carbon can't be destroyed, it is constantly being recycled. So this cycle has 4 steps to it, and we're going to go through each step in detail, starting with the first step.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Carbon. So we're going to start in this section of the cycle. When I said carbon is in everything, I'm not talking about the solid form of carbon. Carbon first goes through combustion and respiration. After that, carbon enters our atmosphere as carbon dioxide, which is a type of gas. Combustion is the process of burning something with... An example would be burning fossil fuels. And respiration is when we humans breathe in oxygen and then breathe out carbon dioxide, which is then released back into the atmosphere. And that is basically the first step. The first step is when carbon enters the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. The second step is photosynthesis. Along with sunlight and water, plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. And this is the formula. Basically, plants absorb carbon dioxide to produce carbohydrates and oxygen. Now this brings us to the reason why carbon is so important to our ecosystem. Because if carbon didn't exist, then photosynthesis wouldn't be possible. In other words, we as humans would either die of starvation or suffocate to death. Which, as you can tell, is not good.
You don't say!
This is where animals come into the cycle. Animals eat the plants and carbohydrates, therefore transferring the carbon compounds across the food chain. Thanks to respiration, most carbon that are consumed are usually exhaled back into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. This process is repeated over and over until the animal dies. The fourth step. This step involves the dead bodies of the animals. Once the animal is dead, their bodies are eaten by decomposers. A decomposer is an organism that decomposes, in other words, breaks down organic material. Examples of decomposure would be soil bacterium, fungus, or invertebrates. Once the dead bodies have been consumed, the carbon that the bodies contained are returned back into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, which brings us back to the first step. However, there are some times where the decomposition of the dead bodies are blocked. Therefore, the plant and animal material turn into fossil fuels for future combustion. Now you see how perfect and balanced this cycle is, because the entire cycle depends mostly on photosynthesis and respiration. The photosynthesis formula is water plus carbon dioxide plus sunlight equals glucose and oxygen. The respiration formula is the exact opposite. So you can see how this can cycle over and over and over, making a well-balanced cycle. And that's basically the end of the carbon cycle. The last thing I want to answer before I end this video is, do we humans have an impact on the cycle? Yes, we humans do have an impact on the cycle. Unfortunately, the impact we have on the cycle is very negative. We tend to disrupt the balance of the cycle, and we do it through two different ways. The first way is through deforestation.
Deforestation is the practice of cutting down forests for various different reasons, but it's fundamentally cutting down trees and leaving behind a vast open wasteland.
Photosynthesis is a very important part of the carbon cycle, but trees can't commence photosynthesis if we cut them down, now can they? The second thing we love to do is burn fossil fuels, in other words, combustion. I've already mentioned before that combustion is when fossil fuels are being burned. Burning fossil fuels creates power for our machines and industries, but it also releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now some of you may ask, isn't that a good thing? Well, no, it's not. Just think about it. Before humans, no one would burn fossil fuels and the cycle would still be perfectly working. So when fossil fuels are being burned, it's like we're disturbing the balance of the cycle. So the only question now is, what can we do about it? Well, we need to keep fighting. If we cut down trees, we need to plant a seed so it can grow back. Instead of burning fossil fuels, we can use solar panels, wind turbines, and even wave turbines. You see, if we work together, we can make a difference. We can save the carbon cycle from destruction and make society a better place. Yeah, so while you guys do that, I'm gonna go and eat some ice cream.
That's not funny!
If I had to comment about the science assessment, it would be, I've never had so much fun making an assessment before. I mean, I probably got really low marks because of how poor my explanation was, and I probably skipped a lot of things I was supposed to talk about. But it was still a fun and new experience for me. I mean, editing the video and making the slides for you, it was truly a fun moment for me, and it makes me wonder why we don't do this more often. However, if you truly want to learn something about the carbon cycle, I suggest you go to this guy, because unlike me, this guy is actually smart. So anyways, that will be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Even if you didn't learn anything from this video, I hope you enjoyed watching me make a fool out of myself. Once again, thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.